Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
My apologies for the false start earlier, but we are back and I think we're live. I'm just going to check the feeds and hopefully we're running, and we are. We're live on the main channels. I think we're certainly up on our Rumble News channel, so we're going to proceed regardless because we have a lot of stories to dig into. And somebody just checking in with me, giving me info on what's running, what's not. And I think we're going to have to, yep, we're good. Thumbs up all the way across the board. Okay, so tonight we're going to go to the White House. They're talking about the Arena Zerutska murder. Social media is ablaze with debate over that tonight. Trump, the Epstein story just won't die. He's trying to distance himself from that letter. It's not working. We have, I guess, the latest information on that Israeli attack on Hamas leaders in Qatar. We have the mayor of Barrie, Ontario, Canada, declaring a citywide state of emergency because of the opioid crisis and the growing problem with homeless tent encampments. So we have all that and more coming up. Stay with me. We'll dig into today's top news stories when we come back on the other.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, first up, we're going to go straight to the White House and pick up this news conference with Caroline Leavitt, who goes after the media. Do I have it here? I think I do. Where'd we go? There we are. Okay, we're going to go to Caroline Leavitt. She goes after the media in part as a response to all of the controversies surrounding the murder of Arena Zerutska, the 23-year-old Ukrainian woman who went to Charlotte, North Carolina to seek safety from the Russia-Ukraine war, only to be stabbed to death on public transit by, well, I'll say it, a black man, which is what some people are trying to make, and I think even most people online, one way or the other, they're trying to make that the issue surrounding all of this. They're turning it into a race issue. You can make your own assessment. Here's Caroline Leavitt.
Followed by an appearance at the New York Yankees game at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx on Thursday evening. Next week, as you all know, the President and the First Lady will depart for their historic state visit to the United Kingdom on Tuesday, and they return to Washington on Thursday. Today, I would like to address the tragedy that has not received nearly enough media attention, the brutal murder of Arena Zerutska. Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report until President Trump drew attention to it. On August 22nd, Arena Zerutska was stabbed to death on the rail system in Charlotte, North Carolina, by a savage career criminal. This is a public transportation system that many in the area use every single day to go to school and work. Arena was on the train that night traveling home from her job at a pizzeria, still in uniform from her shift. This beautiful, innocent 23-year-old young woman was a Ukrainian refugee who had recently fled her country for a chance at a safer life and a promising new beginning here in the United States of America. But tragically, a public transportation system in a major American city was more dangerous than the active war zone that she left. The president and the entire White House are praying for her family and friends during this unimaginably difficult time. But while we extend our thoughts and prayers, we must also seek justice for this crime and call attention to this heinous incident. Surveillance video of the killing was finally released to the public this past Friday. It shows the alleged killer, DeCarlos Brown Jr., pull out a knife, get up from his seat behind Arena, and prepare to thrust a blade into her neck before the released footage gets cut. This is pure evil on full display. The most enraging and unacceptable part of this story is that her death was entirely preventable. DeCarlos Brown never should have been on that train that night. In fact, he should have been behind bars. DeCarlos Brown has been charged with crimes no fewer than 14 times, dating back to 2011, including for armed robbery, felony larceny, breaking and entering, and shoplifting. Brown had previously served 5 years in prison for a robbery with a deadly weapon charge, and he had also forfeited bonds 3 different times, twice in 2014 and once in 2023. Despite all of this past documented criminal history, when Brown was arrested yet again in January of this past year, a Democrat judge, who I will add was a strong supporter of former Vice President Kamala Harris, released this insane criminal once again without requiring him to pay any bail. He simply had to sign a written promise to return for his court hearing. Think about how crazy it is to ask a career criminal, someone who by definition repeatedly breaks the law, to just sign a written promise and come back again another day. This is madness. This monster should have been locked up, and Arena should still be alive. But Democrat politicians, liberal judges, and weak prosecutors would rather virtue signal than lock up criminals and protect their communities. And perhaps most shamefully of all, the majority of the media, many outlets in this room, decided that her murder was not worth reporting on originally because it does not fit a preferred narrative. Many of the journalists in this room spilled plenty of ink trying to smear Daniel Penny for defending a subway car from a deranged lunatic in New York City, but none of those same reporters lift a finger to write stories about an actual murderer. Here's the truth that every American must know. Too many innocent people across the country continue to pay the price of the failed experiment known as cashless bail that has been championed by the Democrat Party for years. All the way back in 2020, North Carolina's then Democrat Governor Roy Cooper established a so-called task force for racial equity and criminal justice. Sounds nice, but it's not. That task force was co-authored by then Attorney General and current Democrat Governor Josh Stein. It recommended, quote, reimagining public safety to, quote, promote diversion and other alternatives to arrest. It also advised to de-emphasize some felony crimes, prioritize, quote, restorative justice, and eliminate cash bail. Democrats in North Carolina and nationwide are consumed with pushing a woke, soft-on-crime agenda, no matter how many innocent Americans suffer as a result. Instead of aggressively prosecuting and locking up violent criminals, the Democrat-backed cashless bail approach lets these criminals roam free in our country to offend again and again. These reckless policies have turned too many of American cities into hunting grounds for career criminals who mock our justice system, drain law enforcement resources, and wreak havoc on law-abiding citizens. Enough is enough, and that is why President Trump is doing everything in his power by taking action to undo these absurd policies. The president recently signed a powerful executive order directing the AG to submit a list of states and local jurisdictions with cashless bail policies so that the Trump administration may identify federal funds that are being provided to these states and can potentially be suspended or terminated. President Trump firmly believes that to maintain order in public safety, we must incarcerate individuals whose pending criminal charges or criminal history demonstrate a clear ongoing risk to civil society. This is a common sense and sensible approach that the vast majority of Americans agree with, and it's time for the Democrat Party to get on board with what is right. When these criminals are caught, they must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and be sent to prison, where they can no longer terrorize our streets. This is the mandate the American people delivered to President Trump, and it's a mandate he intends to fulfill. Staying on the topic of public safety, new preliminary data released today by Customs and Border Protection in August shows that President Trump has delivered the most secure border in American history. For the fourth straight month, 0 illegal aliens were released into the United States by CBP. Nationwide encounters are down 93% below the peak of the Biden administration. Border Patrol apprehensions on the southwest border in the entire month of August were less than what was apprehended in 4 days in August 2024 under the Biden administration. President Trump has ended disastrous Biden illegal alien invasion, and he sealed our border in record time, keeping this central promise he made to the American public. With that, I will take your questions. Here in our new media seat today, we have Michael Schellenberger, who is the founder of Public News with nearly 2 million readers and subscribers. Michael, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
And why don't you kick us off? Sure.
Thank you for making space for new media. Nice to meet all of you. It's great to be here. I want to see if you could give some insight into whether the president is considering additional measures against Europe and Brazil, not just for censorship, but also for preventing political candidates from actually competing in elections. We've now seen in Romania, France, and now Germany with Joachim Paul, efforts to basically just prevent candidates from being able to compete in elections. The president has shown some concern around President Bolsonaro, who's being prevented from running. All of this is coming in the context of increased censorship of online platforms, of American platforms, and efforts to censor Americans. I'm personally being investigated under criminal investigation with my Brazilian colleagues for publishing the Twitter Files Brazil. We're very grateful that the president has imposed Magnitsky sanctions on the judge. Is the president considering additional actions, given that it appears that they're going to end up with a conviction against President Bolsonaro, preventing him from running? Is he considering doing anything about this crackdown in Europe? I mean, it's shocking to see Joachim Paul, this mayoral candidate in Germany, the criminal indictment against him cites him, quote, saying that he loves the Lord of the Rings as reason why he's an extremist and shouldn't be able to run. So I just wonder if you could speak to that. And again, I'm grateful to be here. Nice to meet you all. And I'm grateful for what the Trump administration has done to push for free speech abroad.
Well, thanks for being here, Michael. We appreciate it. Freedom of speech is arguably the most important issue of our time. It is enshrined in our Constitution, and the president believes in it strongly. He himself faced censorship in his road back to this beautiful Oval Office here in Washington, D.C., so he takes this very seriously, as does, I know, the Vice President of the United States and the entire Trump administration, which is why we have taken significant action with regards to Brazil and the form of both sanctions and also leveraging the use of tariffs to ensure that countries around the world are not punishing their citizens in this way. And at the same time, the president is, while he's leveraging the United States to safeguard our interests abroad, he's also making sure that freedom of speech remains here in the United States of America. So I don't have any additional actions to preview for you today, but I can tell you this is a priority for the administration, and the president is unafraid to use the economic might, the military might of the United States of America to protect free speech around the world.
Quick follow-up to that?
Sure.
Quick follow-up, which is just, there was a Reuters story saying that the Trump administration was looking at this Europe-U.S. trade deal as one of the sticking points, this issue of the censorship, not just of U.S. platforms, of Americans. Do you have any updates on how those trade talks are going? And I also wonder if the president is concerned about NATO membership. NATO membership requires that you be a democracy and you have free speech. Is it possible that some of these actions that we've seen in Romania, France, and Germany would disqualify those countries from being in NATO after this?
I have not heard the president discuss NATO membership in regards to this issue in particular, but I have heard him discuss the issue of free speech and the importance of free speech with foreign leaders leaders around the world, including the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. When we were in Scotland, the President brought this up and how important it is for the Prime Minister to protect free speech in the UK, and in various conversations with other world leaders. So he brings it up, and I think the entire world knows that this is a priority for the President of the United States.
Okay. Okay, we're going to come back to this in a moment. But, you know, it's, we're going to circle back here and touch again on this Arena Zerutska murder, because as I say, it is blowing up the internet. And some people are saying this is sort of like the white George Floyd moment. The thing is, like, I don't like to see, this is me personally, I don't like to see crime politicized. I just like to deal with things straight down the middle of the road. The law is the law. It should apply to people equally, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or any other factors. It has to be applied equally across the board. Otherwise, you get, multi-tiered justice, which just doesn't work for a society. And I think that to some degree, you're seeing that in the United States, not to some degree, maybe to a great degree, because the law is not evenly applied, nor is social media. There are a lot of, I don't know if much of anything is evenly applied in our societies today. And that's why things get so complicated. But if somebody murders somebody, that's the penalty. I mean, dealing with the social problems, that's part of, the larger part of the equation. What's the real motivation behind this crime? Was it mental illness? Was it drug abuse? Was it racism? Was it racially motivated? I'm not in the guy's head. I have no idea. But a lot of people will use these incidents for political purposes. And that's not necessarily the most constructive or the best thing for a society, because it may not affect the best outcome for communities or for a country. Here's Stephen Crowder politicizing it. Agree, disagree. I think a lot of what he says is probably is very true, but how do you apply this stuff, this information?
And I just watched this footage again. Hey, white America, I think you just found your George Floyd. You're 12 times more likely to be murdered by a black American than the other way around. And this is not to condemn all black Americans. That's a statistical reality. And it needs to stop. You just found your George Floyd. You watched that tape? Let me ask you, are we supposed to be as offended seeing, if we were to put these two in a side by side, as offended at George Floyd's situation than Zerutska's? Because I'm not. I'm not even close. There are a few key differences. First off, George Floyd is not part of a demographic in this country that is 12 times more likely to be murdered than a white person. That's the first difference. Second difference is Zerutska didn't choose to jam a speedball up her ass. It's hyperbole to make a point. Zerutska didn't live a life harming those around her and living as a degenerate. Zerutska didn't choose to rob a woman at gunpoint with the child in the home. Zerutska didn't choose to resist arrest. Zerutska didn't choose to ask that the air conditioning be turned on in the car until she didn't like it anymore so she be taken out of the car and continue resisting arrest. Zerutska chose to get on a train. Bet you the whole country won't burn down. I bet you won't see $2 billion of damages in the first couple of months. I bet you not anything close to that. So yeah, there's some key differences. I hope I've crystallized them for you. But white America, you just found your George Floyd.
If you want to go down the political road, that's how it plays out. Were those the issues in play there? Maybe. To some degree, maybe to a great degree, maybe entirely. I'm not in the guy's head. I don't know why he did it. Statistically, what he's saying is true. And now, if you want to see video of the actual attack, it's online too. The footage of the actual attack and like the whole gross, horrific thing, you can watch it on X. It's circulating. I can't show it here because if we do, we will for sure be banned because it's just far too graphic. And I think that would be the case regardless of the victim's skin color. It's just horrific and sad. And I think Stephen Crowder is right. You're not going to see people out on the streets burning things down as you did with George Floyd, which was disgusting. The way that was handled and the way that guy was put up on a pedestal. And the cop paying the price for it. And yeah, what the autopsy results actually said. So was that politicized? Yeah. 100,000%. No question. But what are you going to do with it? You got to find positive ways to deal with the issues. Otherwise, things just get worse. Acknowledge the facts and then find constructive ways to deal with them, which is not what happened with George Floyd, because the end result of something like that is more problems. It didn't solve anything, did it? Not a thing. This stuff's been going on for a long time. It will go on beyond this. Guaranteed. Man, it's been going on since long before I was born, long before probably a lot of us were born. Racism, prejudice, racial tension, friction. Man, I lived in Windsor for quite a long time, right across the border from Detroit. They've had huge issues with racism there. People fleeing the city, white people, white flight, they call it, right? What are you going to do with it? Right now, some people are using it to get you upset. I'm not saying that some of the things being said are not true. A lot of the things are true. But you got to recognize that people are also using it as an opportunity to get clicks and build ratings and build support for political movements or just whatever, It's exactly these kinds of issues that divide us. Going to take a break.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't really want to get into a bloodbath in the streets either. So I'm just trying to keep a level head. We'll move on. There's tons of this stuff online, but we've been dealing with it now for 3 straight days. So I think we know where we're at. Let's pivot over here to, this is actually part of the problem, the homeless problem, right? Mental health, drug addiction, opioids. Today in Canada, what are we seeing? The mayor of Barrie, Ontario, declaring a state of emergency citywide because of the opioid crisis and the tent cities that have popped up in his community, growing, spreading. I've got the clip. Here he is. This is Alex Nuttall declaring a state of emergency in Barrie regarding those encampments. He explains here how the municipal council there is taking steps to provide more help to those who he says want it and increase safety at local beaches and parks, on streets. And this coming it's not going to be long before the snow is flying again. I don't know how the people in those tents survive the winters.
Requested Barrie City Mayor and Council to declare a state of emergency to properly manage the opioid emergency and ancillary impacts of homelessness and lawlessness, but was ignored. During COVID, the city of Barrie decided it would create a sanctioned encampment at Milligan's Pond where those who were homeless were able to erect tents and further create a village. Alongside the existing encampments along Ann Street, there came a mass of people in corresponding tents and structures. While the sanction ended, the camping did not. Just over 2 years ago, Barrie City Council tried to bring more effective controls into the community to address rampant homelessness, organized criminal behaviors, drug use, and panhandling. Following activist intervention, Council decided to have faith and provide one more chance to local social services to get it right. Our faith has not been rewarded, and neither has the provinces. The province of Ontario responded to my request for more funding. We've had an 86% increase to homelessness prevention funding in this city. The average across the province was about 44%, I believe. New shelter funding that's going to be hitting in the next 2 months. Encampment cleanup funding that we have used. Heart Hub funding that is now currently being instituted. The total funding described here is not only in the tens of millions of dollars over the next 3 years, but over our term will exceed $100 million. We do not have a funding problem. We have an inability to be effective problem with the money that's been allocated. There are services working with cross purposes to cleaning up lawlessness. It takes too long to be accredited and permitted. It takes too long to deliver the services for rehabilitation and shelter that have been promised to us, the people of Barrie. But we, the city of Barrie, do not have control over this emergency. The federally appointed judges are superseding everyday bylaws. The cities have enacted to create and maintain order. The Barrie Police Department operates as an arm's-length police service overseeing law enforcement, or the lack thereof, being told by the justice system that it's a waste of time to enforce drug possession or drug use laws. This because often those same judges just mentioned throw the cases out and warn the prosecutors to steer away from such charges. While I support the county's plan to deliver new space and the Heart Hub, we have all simply run out of time. The city of Barrie does not have control over this emergency until now. Today, I'm announcing that I've declared a state of emergency in the city of Barrie, as I requested the former administration to do. While we wait for the county's long-term plan to be implemented, the city of Barrie is immediately instituting the state of emergency to reclaim our streets, our boulevards, our parks, our squares, our feeling of safety, and our order. While this order will not appoint federal judges that protect the rights of citizenry to live in a free and lawful society, it will address the problem from the ground up. Barrie City Council has already done so much. In 2023, we provide an additional $1.65 million, increasing our funding to local social service agencies. Also in 2023, we ended the prisoner drop-off program in downtown Barrie that left individuals in our downtown from around the province of Ontario when they left incarceration at Penetang. In 2025, with the help of our police resources, and I see our Deputy Chief here today, Deputy, we funded an additional 17 officers to enforce the law right here in our downtown center. Also, just a couple of weeks ago, we created an additional 55 affordable and supportive housing units, with many more to be approved in the coming months. Today, we are taking further action. These actions are necessary due to the length of time of lawlessness in our city and due to the increase in severity of lawlessness in our city. In the last 2 months, we've had a double homicide. E. coli levels reaching almost 5 times the failure concentration in our streams leading down from the encampments to our beaches. A major increase in tents along city streets with the closure of the encampment. Multiple fires being set last Wednesday alone. A tent that was right behind me being found with drug money, drugs, multiple crossbows, and a pistol. Assaults, rampant drug use, overdoses, theft, exposure to needles by citizens just trying to clean downtown, defecation in doorways, increased encampments, and public indecency. And with all of this, I can honestly say Barrie might have the problem, but we are not the reason. Well over half of the individuals who are homeless in our city are just not from here and not from Simcoe County. With this declaration of emergency, we will be commencing with the following. Immediately testing all water and waterways near or abutting encampments to understand how many other ways are being contaminated, with human feces, resulting in incredibly high E. coli readings and obviously influencing our waterfront. Removing encampments, beginning with those that are nearest our most critical infrastructure and public spaces. Creating a position to oversee the implementation of social services and coordination of services between the various agencies responsible, i.e., remove any and all silos. My current Chief of Staff and Office Manager, Natasha Halikas, will assume this position as soon as we have transitioned someone into her current role. We'll give our city the ability to retain additional staff and contracted services as required. We'll request the county to immediately open access to additional shelter throughout the county of Simcoe to allow for space to be available for the people living in these tents. We'll provide Barrie staff with the ability to retain space if the county of Simcoe does not have any accessible. We'll provide Barrie staff with the ability to explore infrastructure opportunities with the county of Simcoe or individually if required. We request the province of Ontario to provide immediate funding to support this initiative and all of these initiatives. Prior to completion of this order, i.e. prior to the emergency being concluded, staff will have to prepare updates to our existing bylaws, procedures, and policies as required to have for council's consideration to reflect our encampment response measures. And we will commission a report to clearly delineate how we got here and make recommendations of our next steps so that we never come back into this emergency situation.
It is out of control. And because I don't want to go down the racism road, even on an issue like this, people attack me. People are like, Rick, you are sheltered in your community. You don't know what's going on. So they try to shut the channel down. I mean, they get that insanely crazy about it. You don't know what I know. You don't know where I've been. You don't understand me at all, obviously. And you don't understand what I've been saying. And you think, some of you out there, even in our community, that I don't care or that I'm naive. And I had a conversation with somebody today who phoned me to ask about not exactly this, but it's related to this. And I shared a story. I'm going to share it with you because I'd been thinking about it even before they called. And it's related to all this homelessness stuff. And I'm actually tired of the attacks, to be quite honest. Like, I don't really care that much because the people attacking me are not informed anyway, and they're speaking without really thinking and attacking without thinking because it's all emotional. And they're like, you're not fighting enough, or whatever it is that you think I'm supposed to do sitting in this chair. Well, let me tell you something. I was warning against this 15, even 20 years ago. I saw this coming 15 and 20 years ago, not because of racism or even racial issues per se. It's just straight up economics. What are you talking about? When I was still working as a journalist, and then after I was kind of getting away from just working in journalism and I was leaving the network, I started doing video production, more of that, and online marketing work. And even here in my community, I was hired. I had several contracts with the municipality, with the real estate board, with some other organizations to create marketing packages to attract new people to come to the community. Because at the time, and this goes back about 15 years ago, there was government money flying around to all municipalities around here, like all province-wide across Ontario, similar programs even in other provinces Canada-wide. And what they were doing was they were giving marketing money to all these different municipalities. Every municipality could qualify. And they would compete with advertising online or however they wanted to spend it to attract people to their community, to move there. Well, of course, with immigration at that time, you know, when I think back, you had Harper was the prime minister, you know, back in those days, and he was kind of like the cork in the or maybe the guy with the finger in the dike, right? There was immigration, but he was still limiting that, conservative prime minister. And I think back, you know, even to the days of Mike Harris when he was the premier of Ontario, immigration, but they were limiting a lot of it, trying to keep it back. But even with Stephen Harper, you know, the numbers were increasing so much that the demand for housing was increasing and it was jacking up home prices. Well, if you're a real estate agent, or if you're a new home builder, or you're in, you know, the construction business or any of these businesses, you love that. And if you're a homeowner, you love that because prices go up, you get richer because everything you touch is worth more money. So of course you want more and more people to move to your communities because it increases demand for real estate, values go up, right? That's okay to a point. But I remember years ago, again, like this is like 20 some years ago now. Can't believe the time has flown by. Sitting in the mayor's office, old Bill Erickson, mayor of Chatham, Kent, Chatham at the time, Chatham, Kent later, sitting in his office having a very candid conversation with him. And we were talking about these efforts. This is prior to me doing the work because he passed away from cancer before I left the network. But the conversation still sticks in my mind. I think about it quite often. What was it that made living here so great? It's because it's a small town. It's because you can drive anywhere you want and get to any place you want within like 10 minutes, 15 at the most. Our traffic, our rush hour lasts about 10 minutes every day. You know, it's just an efficient little town. It has everything you sort of need, not everything you want. But if you really want more, you're kind of within an hour's drive of Detroit or Windsor or London, some bigger communities, not too far from the border, water around. So it's a great place to live in many respects, but it's because it's a small town. It has small town charm. It's convenient. You don't have all the big city congestion and all the problems that come with living in a place like Toronto, where you have massive traffic jams. Getting to and from work every day is a hassle because they've just got so much population density. They didn't plan properly for the future. Even, so too many cars on the roads, not enough roads to handle them. Didn't build enough, didn't plan far enough in the future. Now you have Doug Ford trying to build tunnels or maybe overpasses and people standing in his way from trying to get these things done because they need to relieve the congestion, and the government calling for even more population, what they call densification. I was aware of all this stuff a long time ago. Even in my hometown, London, only an hour from here where I grew up, I don't recognize that city today. Because why? Because of the growth, because they want more and more people to come, because that increases the value of the real estate. It also stimulates the economy as you bring more people in. And so people are looking for growth because they want money. Not just businesses, but individuals too, because your home is your nest egg. It's your retirement plan. That's what people invest in over time. And if there's more demand, values of homes go up, you get richer. Even if there is inflation, the value of your main asset, your home, is your future. That's your retirement income for a lot of people. And so they want the people to come, right? Well, in London, when I think back like to the 1970s, where I grew up, I used to look out my backyard when I was a kid, and it was like a backyard in a new subdivision, brand new. We lived in a small semi-detached house. You look out the back and there was like a road, and then it was just like forest. And there were like little areas where there's like water and stuff. And I used to go back there and skate in the winter time with my brothers and, shoot the puck around and stuff just back in the field. All that's gone. It's all gone. It's all built up. It's strip plazas now. There was a shopping mall, not White Oaks Mall, not far from where I lived at the time, within, walking distance, really, if you wanted to. And but that's where all the growth was coming from. I'm so old, it's not that long ago, really, in the 1970s. There was a bridge over in the Pond Mills area, a wooden bridge, from the horse and buggy era, where cars would still drive over it back and forth. But all that's gone. It's now all built up. It's like commercial, industrial, residential, and it's just gone like crazy. So when I go back there, yeah, the real estate value, certainly from those days, is increased exponentially. Well, the point that I'm kind of coming to here is that years later, here I am, and I'm doing this online marketing work, and I can see the problem because the government, in all its infinite wisdom, as always, is giving money to all these municipalities to compete with each other for the same people to move to their communities, whether they're new immigrants or existing people, move here. It's the same thing with doctors. They're all trying to lure doctors to their communities to work, and they're using our tax dollars to market to them. Same thing with people that they want to move here. Well, of course, they were targeting a lot of people in the Toronto area with this marketing campaign, and they still do. Because, most of the immigrants were coming in at the time, and the floodgates open up after Harper leaves office, right? And then you're getting the Liberals in. And so, of course, they open up the floodgates for a bunch of reasons, but mostly because they want the economic stimulus from it. Well, I'm doing this marketing work, and I'm like, and my job is really to create a campaign that just makes Chatham-Kent look beautiful, shoot these cinematic videos and showcase the community, which is all very positive, except there was one project in particular that I got involved with. And, and I could tell, and there were like real estate people involved with it. And they didn't care. I could just tell. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody in my community, but it was true. They didn't see, or they didn't care what the long-term ramifications of what was going to be happening would be. And what I'm saying is they wanted lots of people to move here, forgetting, like me remembering the conversation I had with the old mayor, Bill Erickson, what makes the community really great. So what we're selling to people is move here, small town, convenient, safe, all these things that make the community great. You start bringing in a lot of people. I don't care what their skin color is. I don't care what their religion is. I don't care if they're communists, fascists. I don't care if they're conservatives, liberals. It doesn't matter. Numbers are numbers. And when you start looking at the economics behind this, let alone the demographics, but you just look at the straight up numbers, supply and demand, baby. It's just that simple. And so I could see, if you bring in all these people, you're going to have a whole bunch of demand. And if you don't have the actual supply of homes, you're going to have a problem. And this is what's happening in all these communities. You have too much demand that's been built up because they're bringing in the equivalent of, like, I don't know, every year, another city the size of what? I guess about London. Well, where are you going to find all the infrastructure? Where are you going to find the supports? And most of them moved to, like, Toronto. Well, they're pulling people away to communities like this, but this is now, it's just coming home to roost in just the last few years. And I was warning people, and some people didn't like me because I was sounding the alarm bell then. So this is my message back to you people. You people out there who keep attacking me like, I don't know, you're not racist enough for us. I don't care about the skin color. I just have to look at the economics. And I was telling people 15, 20 years ago as a journalist, and then as somebody who was working in my community, I could see this problem coming. And I was like, I don't really want to be doing this work because you guys you just are not handling it responsibly. Bring the people, but you better build the homes, and you better understand that when you do that, you're going to change the fabric of your community. And they have. It's still a small town by any standard in Canada, but it's grown, and we have more people who have moved into the community. And what do we have now? We have housing shortage, rents way up. Why? More demand, not enough supply. They haven't built enough homes. Simple as that. They've had 15 years to do it. But if you're in the real estate business, or if you're a homeowner, and you see the prices going up, you're getting rich. Meanwhile, young people can't get into the market because it hasn't been handled responsibly, because it's artificially induced demand, you see. It's not a free market. This is being generated through irresponsible policies. They're using immigration. They're using the movement of large groups of people, even within the country, afterward, through marketing campaigns into different communities. But they're using these tools as economic drivers without addressing all of the issues, and they're getting unintended consequences because they're trying to control the economy. And they are, because the people who own the property, because some of the businesses benefit immensely and profit immensely from that. And then you end up with housing shortages, not enough housing, not enough apartments, too many people in the community. Rents go sky high. Prices of real estate doubled, especially under Trudeau. And some people are like, yeah, vote Liberal because my house is now worth twice as much. Not really. It is, but it isn't, because if you want someplace to live and you sell your home, well, yeah, you've made bank, but now you have to spend just as much to get another home to live in, unless you have multiple properties. And a lot of people who are, invested in real estate got really filthy rich. But if you're at the low end, you're paying a huge price. And the unintended consequence is that these people who are at the low end, who are the most vulnerable, low-income people, they're the first to get booted out. You've already got social problems there. You have disenfranchisement. You've got employment issues. You've got mental health issues. You have drug issues already. And now these people have the additional stress of, oh my God, my rent tripled. And I don't have enough money, even with social assistance, to pay the rent. And the next thing you know, they're out on the street and living in a tent, and they're stressed right out. And they already have all these problems. And now the drug problems they have are just exacerbated, and they're just medicating themselves to just forget about it while they lay out in a tent in the middle of the winter, half freezing to death, and in some cases actually dying out there in the snow. And this is happening in my town where I moved here. You would never see a homeless person on the streets. Not one time, never. Now there's a tent city right here, just a few blocks from where I live. I don't know if I don't have the flyer. The community here is right upset about it, my neighborhood. And there's flyers putting up security cameras. Yeah, well, you know what, man? Like, and to all you people out there, my Maverick family, some of you who... Rick, you live a sheltered life. You don't know anything about this. You're not racist enough. My neighbors, I watch the municipal elections. Every cycle, I've been doing this stuff for so long, election after election after election. The community meetings that are happening here right now about the tent city, and I'm watching them. I'm arm's length from a lot of it, because when I was sounding the alarm bell on this stuff like 15 years ago, people were like, "You're so racist." I'm like, it's not about the skin color. If you bring all these people, you don't have enough houses. You better build them. There was one guy that I know, I won't mention his name, smart guy, did all these studies, started building houses. Back then, I did some work for him. Really, really smart guy. He saw it all coming too. He profited from it. Not in a bad way. He actually was trying to be part of the solution, and has been, by building more homes. And I've done some work for other home builders here, and they're not bad people, but he saw it as an opportunity. And so he capitalized on it. But you see, the politicians, a lot of them not too swift. I listen to them every election cycle, municipal level, every community. They have these problems with homelessness, and I'm listening to them. And I've been through so many municipal council meetings over the years, and listening to all these people talk about these problems. Well, I'm going to take a building. Well, I'm going to run for mayor. And then my solution to the housing problem is we will build more houses. Vote for me. Or we're going to take this building and we're going to put all the homeless people in it. Solution. That's my solution. Problem solved. Vote for me. Every time. And that some cockamamie, screwed up, stupid, and people are like, sounds good to me. I'll vote for Joe. And then he gets in, and what do you get? You get the same crap, because he didn't really have a solution. He doesn't know anything about it. I'll tell you, it's systemic, it's economic, it's social, it's all these issues. It's drugs, huge drug problem. It's about, making sure people have economic opportunities. And that's the thing. You bring all the people here, they put stress on every other aspect of your community, from your schools to your health care to everything else. But hey, man, if you're selling real estate and you're making commish, you want those people to come, and you want lots of them. And then those houses, they sell. And they sell over asking price, and the market goes up, and everybody's making bank who's got the property. And Rick Walker, you shut your mouth. Yeah, I got it over there 15 years ago, and now I'm getting it over here because I'm not racist enough. It's got nothing to do with the skin color. But what it does have something to do with skin color. I'll tell you what it's got to do with skin color, because now you got the tent city, and I don't think there's actually any, but yes, there are a couple of people, I guess. I don't know I'll have to go back over and I'll get a demographic breakdown for you. But it's racism. Racism is the issue in this way. You've got a huge problem here now. It's somebody, the people, we got a problem. So they some people exploit it. And I'm not picking up the phone. So some people exploit that. And they point the finger and they blame that group over there. Huh? No. Everybody wants to talk to me tonight. Not me. So blame those people. It's their fault. Let me tell you something. Those people, we asked them to come. And they're not the problem, generally speaking. There's a whole section of this town that's Muslim, pretty much. There was a school that was shut down because they didn't have enough kids to support it. CCI, Chatham Collegiate Institute. Great little high school. And if you go over to that area, a lot of people have moved in there and they've bought up a lot of houses. It's a community. They've done a lot of things over there. No problems over there, man. It's just we have a lot of new immigrants living in there, and they've turned that into a school for their little community within our community. A school that was sitting vacant. And so real estate values went up there too. But like those people were asked to come and they become integrated into the community. They're not a problem. Not at least not that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any more crime over there. I don't see any issues. They've actually improved things because it was getting a little run down. So that's okay. But at the lower end, because you have all these people, see, people don't think of it in these complex economic ways because the problem is not them. The problem is now at the lower end. It's an unintended consequence. It's the people who can least afford it who get kicked out of their places. Because now they can't afford because the low end real estate just tripled in price. And now those most vulnerable people are out on the streets and there isn't backup for them. And so then you get the politicians sitting there who are like, yeah, let's bring all these people here and increase demand. That'll increase real estate values. But now you've got all these people kicked out on the streets. It amplifies all the socioeconomic problems. Now you've got people living in tents. They don't know what to do with them. I listened to I brought you some of them, the meetings that they've had even here locally, because it just highlights what the same problem is here as it is in Barrie and every other community. And then what are they really saying over there when I'm listening to them? They don't really want to deal with the problem. They just want these people gone. So these people lose their homes because of economic policies, policies set even at the municipal level, like municipal, provincial, and federal levels. So all levels of government, all parties, right, involved in ruling, and even the local politicians, their policies from 15, 20 years ago, now you're getting the impact from it. That's the reality. And people are pointing their fingers at the people over in the other part of the community saying, if all those people weren't here, they're just get out of my country. No, look over to City Hall. And a lot of those politicians, they're gone now. They served their time. They got their paychecks there. A lot of them are gone. A few of them are still over there. And I know the people in my town who really are responsible for some of this at the local level. And I know what's going on at the other levels of government. Point your fingers at them. It's because they asked all those people to come here. They facilitated it. They wanted it to increase the real estate values. So now if you're selling anything from a 2x4 to a nail to a sink, or a whole property, or if you've got rental units, bank, man, especially if you've got investment properties, bank, you're rolling in it. And over the last 20 years, a lot of people have retired, cashed out. Now we got people living in tents. They're the ones paying the price. And what am I seeing in my community? I'm seeing fear of those people living in that tent city. I went over there. I'm going to go back. I did the interviews over there the one day, and I ran them here on the program. Those people weren't even included in the community meetings that are dealing with their fate. Municipal council still hasn't come up with a solution. They can't find a place where they think it's adequate, proper to put them. The reality is they just want to get rid of them. They don't want to deal with the problem, a problem that was created by the politicians and the bureaucrats, but mostly the politicians who made deals with people with money, who backed their campaigns, knowing that if they brought these policies in, oh, this real estate guy's going to bankroll that guy's campaign, then you're going to get this policy. I see, I see what's going on. And then they get rich. And then everybody's like, race war, blood in the streets. Let's all go to Ottawa or the provincial legislature and we're going to overthrow the government. Like, what? What are you talking about? No. That's not going to solve the problem. They're not just here temporarily either. These are Canadian citizens now, and some of them have been living here for like 20, 30, 40 years or longer. They've had families. A lot of these people were born here, but they don't look like us. Deport them. Shut the F up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just being emotional, like me right now, because I'm exasperated listening to it. Because I do know, and I'm tired of the politicians, and I'm tired of the people attacking me 15, 20 years ago when I was saying, the economics on this, better be careful. Rick Walker, you're shut up. We're taking your contracts away. And I haven't done any work for them since. So don't tell me that I haven't stood up to deal with this problem, because I sure as hell have. And I've paid a price, because there's a lot of things, a lot of people won't hire me in this town because of that. Which is a long story, but it's true. But some people I still work for because they understood. And it wasn't racism with me at all. Strictly the numbers. Not going to work. And it hasn't. Now you've got it. And now I go over to the mailboxes, like we've got those super boxes, and the posters are up. I've got one they delivered one to my front door. Get involved, go to the community meetings, put up security cameras. And then everybody's worried about the frickin' police state, right? They want people to put up security cameras. This is the community group. Put up a security camera and then have your feed from the internet going into the police station so that they can surveil the whole neighborhood. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. Police state, complete 24/7 police surveillance of every inch of your neighborhood. You walk out your front door, you're going to be on everybody's camera. The cops are going to be watching everybody. I don't really care. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's all cool with me. But if you're worried about the police state, it's literally here now because people are begging for it because of the policies that were enacted way back then that I was like, I don't know if this is such a good idea. Too much, too quick. You're not putting enough into, the supply side. It's just that simple. Supply and demand. Too much demand, not enough supply, unintended consequences. And the CBC is another damn problem. And Rick, you are mainstream media. No, I'm not. Well, I was, but I'm not, but I am, but I'm not. Because I'll criticize anybody on any side of it. CBC sucks, especially CBC radio when it comes to this, because they need to stop normalizing and promoting drug use. And I've been saying that for years and years and years, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Trudeau never should have. I'm sorry if you like to smoke your weed, but it shouldn't be legalized. It's been a problem ever since. People voted for Trudeau because he was going to legalize weed, and I said, bad move. You're going to have more social problems, and we have. And it's gotten worse since then, and even since then, because you're normalizing the drug use. CBC radio in particular, I don't listen to them very often. I used to listen to them more driving when I was going to Toronto all the time. They'll talk about LSD is good for you. What the hell are you talking about? It's good for therapy. It helps with like PTSD, and you just it's acid, and it's you put that and you do it, and then it makes your brain you feel way better. And we should give it to all our veterans who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and that helps them. No, it doesn't. It's like a false, fake universe in your freaking head. It's a hallucinogenic. It's not reality. It just makes people feel better, maybe for a little while if they're not having a bad trip, I guess. So that they don't have to deal with the reality of the fact that they're living in a tent.
Rick, you're not racist enough. It's those people over there.
Yeah, it's the people down at City Hall because they're stupid. They're dumb, and if they're not dumb, they're greedy. And they didn't care 15 and 20 years ago, and even more recently than that. And they just kept doing it because they're making bank. And now I'm on everybody's camera because they're worried that the homeless people way over there are coming to steal their crap. I don't know, they're pink flamingos off their front lawns or whatever.
You're not racist enough. Let's convoy, another convoy. That'll solve it.
No, it won't. Nope. Because they're not going anywhere. Better learn to live with them because they're not your enemy, they're your neighbor. My neighbor 2 doors down, Muslim. That guy over there, he's from Palestine. A few Jewish people living in the neighborhood. Not going anywhere. Neither am I. I'll say people aren't as friendly these days as they used to be. Ever since the pandemic. There was the turning point, right? There was the opportunity for a lot of people who are like,
blame those people. They don't look like us.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. Still is. Only it was, masked more than masks coming off really in a really big way now because they're really ramping it up, right? Like, we got to get rid of all those people now that Trump's in office, and it's in vogue and it's in style to be a racist prick. Deport them all.
No due process for you. Look at the color of your skin. In the back of that truck, off to frickin' El Salvador with you. What's your name? Don't care.
Yeah, well, when they're doing it to him and deporting people to a gulag down in Central America someplace or to Alligator Alcatraz, they can do it to you. And they already did. They locked us all down. And they'll do it again. If you let them. Because now the very things that you were protesting about, I thought, in Ottawa at the Freedom Convoy, hey, that's great. Everybody's like, yeah, freedom. No more lockdowns. No more mandates. Honor the charter. Yeah, constitutional rights, everybody. Nope. Saying like, no, guess not. No, it's just that you didn't like that. You don't like them anymore. And you don't like those people, so get rid of them. Whose rights? Screw them. Yeah, you want to. You know what? There's two-tier justice out there. Yeah? No shit. You're asking for it. You want it. You want two-tier justice. You just want it in your favor. You want to deport those people, even if they are Canadian citizens, because you weren't born here. Or even if you were, you don't look like me. You don't think like me. Get the hell out. Screw your rights. Yeah, screw your rights when you screw their rights. It's how you do it, man. You're not racist enough, Rick. You don't know. You live in a sheltered life. Yeah, shut up.
We're going to go to Ottawa again.
Go ahead. What you going to do? When you come back, all the people you hate still there.
Well, we're going to get the cops to go and arrest them and put them. We're going to get our Canadian ICE agents out there, and then we're going to put them all in trucks and ship them all off to Dr. Oz's farm to live with the ostriches.
People are people are people. You have to judge people as individuals. That's the solution.
I want an ethno-Christian state. We're a Judeo-Christian society, and everything here should be Christian.
Well, if that's the case, then you don't believe in freedom of religion. And if there's no freedom of religion, then don't be surprised if someday somebody comes along and says that you're not allowed to practice yours. And that's why we have the separation of church and state. Because as soon as you integrate the two and you denominize it, you become authoritarian. And you begin to oppress people who don't think like you, which proves that you don't also believe in free speech or freedom of expression, let alone freedom of religion.
Well, you censored people. You banned us.
No, I didn't. You have free speech. You still have a place here. You still have a place to exercise your free speech. And I'm not obligated to give it to you because you have free speech in a lot of places. But you want it here. And you've been taunting me, some of you, for a long time. Go ahead, ban us so we can show everybody that you ban people on your freedom of speech news platform. Does this sound like an editorial? Maybe just a little bit, because I'm sick of it. And I don't have to take it. Well, I do. And it's okay to a point. You know, I'm not going to just sit here and let people punch me in the face all night, though. I have a little bit of self-respect. I know you don't understand. People attack me and they don't even understand what I'm saying. They don't understand my arguments.
You're not racist enough. You must be the racist that they want us to become.
No, not me. You go ahead and listen to those people who say, you have to be more racist, and then that'll solve everything. That's the solution. Be a racist. Fight. Let's have a race war. That'll solve it. Great idea. Not. That'll lead to a very dark place very quickly. And it already is. And you know it. You see it. Honestly, I cannot freaking believe what I'm seeing. I saw what happened during the early days of the pandemic, right? And I was like, holy crap, this is like everybody's being tested. What would you do if you were alive when Hitler was in power? How would you? Oh, I would stand up to him. I wouldn't follow that guy. I wouldn't be one of them. No. The vast majority of people at the beginning of the pandemic wanted to lock everybody up, mask everybody up. Yeah, literally lock people up. You didn't get your shot thing. You got to go in the clink. People failed the test. A lot of people. I didn't get the jabberoonie. I'm sitting there going like, I don't think so. Not me. It seems like a little too soon. Not enough testing. Maybe a little worried about that one. And I was pissed about the masks. I was pissed about the mandates. I was pissed about not being able to go into stores. I was like, you have freaking arrows on the floor at the grocery stores? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm not going that way. I'm going the other way. They're going to tackle you, kick you out of the store. Yeah, people failed. And you know what? I'm looking around, and the people that thought they passed the test last time, maybe you did, but you're failing now, a lot of you. You must be the racist that they want you to. Look, who the hell is saying shit like that? You're just not Nazi enough for us. You just got to be more Nazi. Oh, okay. Great idea. Failed. Failure. Society collapses. It's, you want, that's not freedom. How about a little National Socialism? That'll fix her all. Not. Yeah, but democracy doesn't work anymore, so got to have that. Fail. Again. And it isn't really that complicated how to fix shit. You got to put the emotion aside. You got to shove all that over there and start to think rationally, start dealing with these things rationally, start dealing with things at the core level, cause and effect, supply and demand, just the basics, man. Just get it right. You know what? If there was enough housing and the prices for housing hadn't gone crazy like they did, and people had places to live, and you didn't have the state broadcaster promoting drug use to, I guess, dope you up and dumb you down, if you didn't have them feeding you weed so that you can wake and bake every morning, so you were thinking clearly and maybe were a little more productive, if you didn't have people, ingesting magic mushrooms and LSD and then watching crazy freaking videos online about UFOs and Alex Jones videos about people with lizard brains, maybe people would be thinking a little bit straighter. And maybe they wouldn't be living in a tent. But that's not where we're at. Just say no to drugs. The solution for dealing with stupidity at the political level, the stupidity has gotten worse since the pandemic, because a lot of the people who claim that they're offering solutions, the people are voting for to put in. And I was saying, for a long time, you got to get involved in politics. You have to run for office. You have to get in there and really take steps to just get involved and make a difference. Even if it's at the local level, you can have a lot of influence at the local level, and that can be fine. But a lot of the people that I've seen that have gotten involved, that have been elected, that's supposed to be, they're crazy. They are crazy people. I'm like, whoa, where did this crazy person come from?
Well, first thing we have to do is build a UFO landing pad, and then get rid of all medications, because Big Pharma is trying to murder everybody. And then the chemtrails, eating your brains with worms like RFK. Shut up! Like, really, shut up! I'm going to have another convoy.
All right. Go ahead. Problems are still going to be here when you get back. Maybe worse for you if you go on another convoy into the wide open waiting arms of the liberal fascist state that locked you down. You think they're not monitoring you online? You think they don't know you're coming? They're waiting for you. It's about the economics. Economics is boring. I don't know. Today, I talked to a guy. I'm not going to tell you. I can't because if I tell you, he'll know. And I can't because it'll hurt his feelings. Let me just say, people don't understand economics. They just don't. Most people just haven't got a clue. They can barely, me too. Right? Did I balance? Am I spending more than I have coming in this month? Do I have anything coming in this month? Not much, because I'm sitting here talking to you instead of out there making money. Could do that. Oh my God. I'm going to take a break. It's so stupid. It's so tragic. It's so frustrating. All I can do is laugh. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay. My dad used to drive the truck delivering Werner's ginger ale. So, refreshment time. There. Headphones on. Sliding back into position. Oh, I'm a kid again. When I was younger, I didn't really like the stuff much, but now I do. It's the, it's like thicker, the syrup they use to make the soda. There's more of it in here, I think. So you get the high fructose corn syrup on turbo charged, and it just goes straight into your veins. And your blood sugar goes through the roof. Which brings me to a story, actually, for today. Sweden's health minister collapsed. It's a true story. Let me see if I've got video. I think I do. Here we go. Yeah, right here. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Sweden's health minister collapsed suddenly. And I know, everybody's like, I bet you she got the jab. Stu Peters. Stu Peters, where are you? Are you on this one, Stu? Stu Peters knows everything about health. He's a smart guy. He's very racist. You should be more like Stu Peters. You should be a racist like him. Yeah, maybe I'll get you a different clip of it. Yeah, here, I'll run this one. It's cleaner. So you can see the Swedish health minister collapse. Come on, this computer is all screwed up tonight. Here it is. Again, it's just messed. Okay, there she is. Do you want to see her fall over and go boom? It's very entertaining because people love tragedy. I should have put this in the thumbnail. Swedish health minister collapses suddenly. Stu Peters has more in Watch the Water 2.0. There we go. What's her name? Christian Democrat politician. I don't know what her name is. Who cares? She falls over. That's the point. There we go. Sorry, I'm being a little blunt tonight. Okay, here she is falling over.
Frågor som betyder mest för människors tilltro till vår gemensamma välfärd. Tack.
Tack för det. Och nu tror jag Jakob ska lära oss allt om paragraf 5-förordnanden. Eller hur, Jakob?
Ja, det tänker jag vi har i en särskild övning möjligen. Hälso- och sjukvården.
There you go. Excuse me. It's the Verners. It's okay. Stu. I know you'll probably put that in your next, documentary where you show people falling over and stuff. But like a lot of those other ones you showed in the last one, yeah, she came back. She's not dead. She says she's okay. She said it was a blood sugar issue. That happened today. I don't know if that's news, but it is reality. But maybe not in the next Stu Peters documentary. Doesn't matter what the truth is. It's what you choose to believe. She's probably dead. They probably fake. It's a body double. She's wearing a mask. Crazy people. Supply and demand. If they just got that right 15 years ago, none of this would be happening. Because then people wouldn't be fighting. Because everybody would be like still living in homes in my town, and people wouldn't be like, let's put up cameras and turn this into a surveillance state. Let's get Homeland Security and ICE agents down here and bust up that tent city. Okay. Didn't have to be like this. Told you 15 years ago. Rick, you're not racist enough. That'll fix everything. Just go be on your show. Be racist. No thanks. No thank you. No, not really into it. No, I don't think so. Speaking of economics, Ukraine has, I'll show you this one instead because it's, again, a little easier to see it. Oh, look at that. There's a time. They must be listening. They must be listening to what I'm saying out there in Cyberland, because what I'm about to show you on this next page, there's an ad for the Bank of Montreal at the very bottom. Isn't that ironic? Well, of course, it is a financial story dealing with Ukraine and all the money and all the corruption. And Zelensky bought a casino and 15 yachts and 17 jumbo jets with all the money that he stole. Rick, you're not racist enough. Okay. Well, Ukraine. No, he didn't.
It's true. It's true, Rick. It's true. It's true. It's true. You just don't understand.
I do, kind of. Not always. Some of it's pretty freaking weird. There's another UFO thing out today, but this, oh, shoot. Did I lose it? This stupid computer is just, it's awful tonight. That's why we didn't run properly. Okay, anyway, Ukraine is asking to refinance its IMF loans. It's just, I should have rebooted this computer before we came back on. Ukraine, here, I'm going to pull this back up. So there it is there. And oh, come on, computer. I'm sorry, everybody. I need a new one. Okay. I have to get one soon anyway, because this thing's running in a version of Windows that won't be supported soon. Where is it? There's this, but this isn't really what I wanted to show you. Okay. This I'll have to do, even though they're blocking half of it. So Ukraine. Come on. There we go. If my computer would just work, then everything would be wonderful tonight. Ronan, is this it? There it is. Ukraine makes official request for new IMF program. The Prime Minister, this isn't Zelensky, this is the PM, says. And I've lost my tab again. Anyway, I can't click fast enough because it's just all messed up. Oh, this is so frustrating. Freezing up, freezing up. Anyway, the point is that I'm trying to make here is that the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, in fact, here, I think this is an update. So let me recue that. Now they're gonna support Ukraine with, I guess they just announced this. So $500 million after a review. There it is, Reuters. Thank you, Reuters. Yeah, so this is actually a little bit older. They've been asking for this review over at the IMF because the IMF provides funding to countries that are in monetary distress. And so this is what they've been doing over in Ukraine. And the reason I'm showing you this is because actually the gentleman that I spoke with today, smart guy, but doesn't really understand how the world economy works. And he's just been listening to way too much Alex Jones and is convinced that the World Bank is an evil cabal that is going to kill us all or whatever, or bankrupt us, blah, blah, blah. But doesn't really understand what the World Bank, the IMF, what they do. Because no good deed goes unpunished. And what the World Bank and the IMF do is they actually provide loans to countries that are in financial distress quite often and have no other place to go. And so in some cases, to some countries, they give 0% interest loans to keep these countries afloat. Anyway, so I thought, well, since my friend didn't understand, maybe a lot of other people don't understand, and I'm sure that people don't. So I thought, I came across this today as well. And this is a little video by an economist explaining what the IMF does. And I thought, well, this is probably a useful thing that we can use to teach people. So here's a video explaining, a short one, about what the IMF does. It's maybe not the evil financial empire coming to eat your wallet.
First of all, no connection to the Mission Impossible movies. We are not the fictional spy agency known as the Impossible Mission Force, although we are happy to share in the IMF name. Also, we're a little bit older than Tom Cruise. In fact, the IMF was founded in 1944, when World War II was still raging. Countries were keenly aware of the need for international cooperation, including an international organization to promote economic and financial stability. Think of the IMF as one big credit union, where our member countries deposit their resources and from where they can also borrow. So, what does the IMF do? Our work is actually focused on 3 key areas. We conduct economic research and offer policy advice. We provide financial support, and we help countries build their institutional capacity. Let's start with policy advice. We also support economic reforms in the recipient countries. These are designed by its government with IMF assistance to ensure that the country exits in a stronger economic position. Let me end on capacity development. If IMF lending reminds people of, at times, emergency room doctors, our capacity development is a physical therapist who helps countries strengthen their institutions and policymaking. Over 160 countries receive direct assistance from the fund to advise and build capacity for their institutions. We also provide extensive training for public officials. The technical assistance work, like all of IMF's work, is usually hands-on, pragmatic, and designed with each country's circumstances in mind. The areas of focus range from public financial management to social spending and frontier topics like digital currencies. And that's it for today. Be sure to continue sending us your questions to askAneconomist@imf.org, and see you next time.
Okay, ciao for now. No, Rick, it's the Rothschilds and BlackRock. Yeah, but no. Yes, and yes, but no. It's not perfect, and there's issues, and yeah, but no. It's the World Bank. It's the World Order New thing and everything, Rick. And it's, don't you understand? It's the Rothschilds. I saw it on Alex Jones. Yeah, okay. It's the Rothschilds and the Vatican. Yes, lizard brains, lizard people, aliens. You know, we have a tent city in my community. Maybe you have one in yours. Probably do. Probably more than one. But the foundation is still there for a great freaking country. Things are just out of balance, out of whack, and people are taking advantage of that. And you have politicians who people think are the elite. In reality, because we have a government of the people that is the people, it's just that some of them are rich and some of them are stupid. Some of them are barbers and some of them are plumbers and some of them are lawyers, and they're members of parliament or provincial MLAs or councillors. Yeah, they're right from your community, you know. And they're no smarter than probably you or me. And they make stupid mistakes and they do stupid things. And some of them are damn corrupt. And there's lots of opportunity for corruption in government in ways that probably a lot of you aren't even aware of. Me too. Because once you're in there, it's like, if I just sign that document, do this and push that there, and then if I support that thing over there, and this guy will pay me over there, and then if I do that, and I'll get rich, and this is going to happen to the stock market if I do this. Hey, and if I impose tariffs on all these countries, it gives me all the levers of power economically over most of the world, and I can be the king of the planet. But in Canada, you know, people don't even understand how our government works, and they want to tear it down because you're listening to people who are telling you a bunch of bunk. It's not a real country. Not even a real country. Just a corporation. So we got to just get rid of it all and burn it down, and then we need a new constitution. No, you need to honor the Constitution. You need to have people understand the Constitution, including the judges. And you need to live by the Constitution, and you need the rule of law, and the rule of law needs to be applied equally to all people so that everyone is treated equally through blind justice, meaning that justice doesn't see color, doesn't see race, doesn't see religion, doesn't see anything except the facts of the case, whatever the case may be. And the hand of justice should be applied evenly across the board. But it isn't, because politics. You think that's going to change if you burn it down and bring in something new? No, it's going to be worse. Guaranteed, because what I'm hearing out there, every single option that I've been presented with so far is about authoritarianism. It's about doing away with actual democracy and putting more hands in the hands of those who, either it's more chaos, which actually destroys people's rights, or it's putting way more power into the hands of the politicians and government, which again destroys your rights. I haven't seen anybody offer anything anywhere, not from Alberta, not from any place in the States, not from any other place in the country so far that's anything better than what we already have. What we need to do is fix what we have. Fix what's broken. In my humble opinion, as I editorialize again tonight. And don't ever elect anybody like Justin Trudeau again. That'd be a good start too. Because man, did he screw up or what? Look at the state of the country now. Everybody's so divided. That's why he's the worst prime minister in history, because he left everybody freaking divided, angry and ready to fight. Here we go with the race war. Let's have a race war. That'll solve it. Yeah, you think you follow those guys and have your race war. See what happens. Not going to be pretty, not going to be good, not going to be good for anybody. I say no. I say just say no to the race war. That would be a good start. I just say no to the race war. Maybe we'll get t-shirts made up. Just say no to the race war. Fuck God, my God. Am I really saying this tonight? It's September 9th, 2025. September 9th, 2025. And I'm sitting here talking about trying to avoid a race war. Because those guys over there, they're not Nazis. They were never. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Maybe they just weren't, they're taking finally after the pandemic, they're taking their masks off. Maybe. And those other guys over there, we already know that those Antifa guys are as fascistic as anybody. So you got fascists fighting fascists and saying that they're going to get us solve the race. Oh my God. Ugh. Don't want anything to do with any of it. Leave me out. I'll sit this one out. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to go to, I don't think the race war is coming to my street. I don't think. I'll probably go outside, but I'm not going to the race war. I suggest maybe you might consider not going too. What if they had a race war and nobody showed up? That'd be a good one. That'd be the best race war ever. Nobody showed up. Good. Excellent. Let's have a race war on Monday. Okay, everybody, are you ready? Okay, everybody go on Monday. No, don't go. Bad idea. I say. Go to a movie. Go shopping because they don't have any arrows on the floors anymore. That's a good one. Take some water to the people at the homeless encampment in your neighborhood so they don't die. Or maybe take them a blanket. Show them a little kindness. I got hammered when I went to talk to the people at the tent city, such as it is. People are like, you're evil. What? You're a piece of shit, Rick. I bet you didn't take them any water. I mean, seriously. Okay, thank you, haters. Okay. What did happen? This is the power of media. And I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I'm going to. Because not because it's about me. It's not. It's about how what we do here matters. because what you're doing here matters. When you support this channel, this is how it affects things and makes things better. Because I went down there and did that, I learned this a long time ago. People saw it, even here in my hometown, because I have a bunch of people who watch. And I started getting phone calls from people who did what? They took the people water. They did. And Gatorade. Gatorade. Do you know why they took them the Gatorade? Because I did that whole video with the thumbnail and everything where I was joking around, right? About the ostriches and how alligators also get bird flu, but they don't die. So we should be studying the antibodies in the gators down at Alligator Alcatraz. It was all stupid. But because I did that, and then I had in the thumbnail, and we were talking about having like the big concert, the next concert to raise funds, calling it Gatorade. Some people got confused and they were like, do they need Gatorade at the homeless encampment, Rick? And people are phoning me up. And I'm like, what do you know? The Gatorade thing. No, that was ostriches. And no, that's like, no, like I'm calling about the Gatorade. No, it's not really no, that wasn't what they were calling about at all. They were confused. I don't know how this happened. They thought the Gatorade, that they needed Gatorade at the homeless encampment. And so people are like, how much Gatorade should we take over? I was like, it took me a while to clue in. And then I was, oh, no, I get what they're talking about, the homeless encampment, not the ostriches and Alligator Alcatraz. So, but the good thing is some people took over a bunch of Gatorade and some water after I called them back. And I understand what you're talking about now. It was so confusing. That's the power of media. Because if you do stories, you can have a really positive impact and good things can come of it. I learned that in journalism school. I mean, that's the power of it. And it's not like I have to go around and I don't have to be like Mother Teresa because I've got you guys. You help amplify everything that we do. You put the message out, you use your superpowers for good, never evil, and good things happen. That's the way she goes, man. And that made a difference over there. I'm going back. I'm going to talk to those guys again. They're not far from where I'm sitting tonight. They need help. And they're not really to blame. They're just, I see those guys over there as victims as much as anything. And you know what they are? All those folks over there? They are misfits. Just like me, just like you. We're all a bunch of misfits here. The Maverick misfits. We don't quite fit in a lot of ways. It's been like that ever since the pandemic. It's like that today. I'm not sure where I fit in anymore. Don't really care because I'm just me and I'm trying not to change. I'm trying not to let the craziness of the lockdowns and the and it's been going on for years. And then and now race war. No, man, I'm not interested. No, thank you. Nope. No, aren't you going to be a racist with us? Nope. Nope. No. Nah. No, thanks. But the Jews, I don't want to hear it. And the Palestinians, yeah, I don't like any of it. I'm against all of it. Both sides, bad. Not interested in the race war. But the black people and the black on white and the black on black and the white on white crime. Don't care. Just judge people as individuals, apply the law equally. That's my position, always has been, going to continue to be. I'm all about individualism, and that's where you find true diversity anyway. Real diversity, because every single person is unique, and that's how you must judge people. Justice should be blind. And yeah, not interested in your freaking race war. National socialism, white ethnos, no, screw off. Really, like screw the F off. Leave me alone. I don't want you here. If that's what you're going to backpedal. Not here. This is not the place, because we've been downtrodden, beat up, crapped on too much already. Too much suffering. And we're all little guys here, man. Like, all of us are the little guys. I'm standing up for the little guys. And that's like just about everybody. And I don't care where you come from, what your religion. I don't care. I just don't care. Because I care. Because I care about preserving my soul. I don't want to lose my humanity. I don't want to be a racist prick. I don't want to have a fight with all the people out in my community. I don't want to go to war with my neighbor. I don't want to go to Ottawa and another convoy and overthrow the government or do whatever the hell it is that people think they're going to be doing next time they have one. I'm not interested. No, the convoy thing, there was a lot of good things that came out of that. No question about it. But I'm not interested in all the negative black shit that people are trying to convince us all to get involved in now. Not me. Nope. No thanks. Nope. It's not me. Never was. I told you a long time ago, if you want me to be a Jew hater, you got the wrong guy. Not me. But I do want justice for people who are victims of crimes. I think we need safety in our streets. We need good policing, good community policing. We need all that stuff. We need a stabilized society. But the solutions aren't even, I don't think, really that difficult. They're not really that hard. But not what Donald Trump's doing. I don't want anything to do with that. No, that guy's changed. He's different. He's gone to the dark side for sure. Look at what they're doing in Venezuela. I mean, for crying out loud. I'm totally against drugs. Don't get me wrong. But sovereignty is sovereignty. And what I see them doing here in Canada, and I'm looking at what they're doing in Venezuela, and I'm like, there's two Americas down there, you know? It's true, maybe more than two. But that's not the America that I remember. That's not the America I know. Sure as hell isn't Mayberry, is it? No. Donald freaking Trump? Oh my God. And then she stands up there in that news conference saying that the mainstream media didn't pay any attention to that story until Donald Trump brought it to everyone's attention. Are you freaking kidding me? The only reason Trump even talked about it was because 2 days ago, some reporter asked him about it while he was about to get aboard Air Force One. And he said, did you hear about, the reporter said, did you hear about the murder of Arena Zerutska? He says, no, I never heard anything about it. And the guy tells him a little bit about it. He said, I'll know all about it by morning. And now here we are, news conference about it. So she starts off today's press briefing at the White House with it. But hey, it's because of Donald Trump that we all know about it now. No. He found out about it from somebody long after the fact. And then he didn't even get the dating right on his clip yesterday. But hey, it's good optics, right? For the media, for the public. The Epstein thing, that just won't go away. Still out there tonight. The whole letter thing that we showed you yesterday still circulating. That's not going away. Don't want anything to do with that. I see, like, there's some fishing boat. It's got, I don't know, maybe like 14 feet long here now. I've got a video of it. I don't even know if this is real. Says here, the U.S. Coast Guard had just blown up a boat carrying drugs bound for the United States. The Trump admin is not playing nice with narco terrorists. It's about time. This will save countless American lives. Are you freaking kidding me? Let me show you this video. Is this even real? This one? Wait till you see this. Is that it? No. Yeah. This. Here we go. Look at this video. This is the U.S. Navy with I guess the Coast Guard. I don't know where this is. I can't even find a news story to back this up to verify. The two 10-horse motors on the back. What? There's nobody on it. I think it's not going to float anymore. It's going down, guys. I think you can stop. It's okay. You think they killed the boat yet? What is that? Trump's not fooling around now. He's sinking every dinghy he can find. What the hell? It's like a 12 or 14 foot fishing boat with two 9.9 Johnsons on the back. Maybe they're mercury outboards. I don't like. Yeah, that'll put an end to the drug cartels. How many aircraft carriers and destroyers did they bring to bear on that one? Let me see if I can find anything to back that up. I can't believe, like, what is that? It says the Coast Guard. So let me see if there's a story to go. Coast Guard blows up boat. It's the Times of India 3 hours ago. Yeah, it's like they're posting this shit. U.S. Coast Guard blows up drug boat in Operation Pacific Viper. Seizes. Come on, really? This is Times Now. Really? 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 I'm supposed to believe this? Really? Hang on. It's freezing again. Oh, this stupid computer. Sorry. Let me see if I can find a better one. It's going to come up. It's actually out there as a story. Coast Guard blows up boat. Let's try this one. Drug boat, 13,000 pounds of cocaine? Oh, come on. Really? I'm finding this a little hard to swallow. Here. Show you the story. This. What the hell? Oh, yeah, it's true. It's all true. Times of India. Watch U.S. Coast Guard blows up drug boat in Caribbean. Seizes 13,000 pounds of cocaine. 13,000 pounds on that little boat? The U.S. Coast Guard destroyed a drug-laden boat bound for the United States, seizing nearly 13,000 pounds of cocaine in a high-profile operation. A video posted on X today, Wednesday, shows the vessel being blown up into flames as authorities carried out the strike. ASMR USCG captures, burns, and sinks a drug boat over the weekend as part of Operation Pacific Viper. The USCG Cutter Stone conducted 3 interdictions in a single night, seizing nearly 13,000 pounds of cocaine and apprehending 7 suspected drug smugglers, said the Coast Guard. The operation follows a deadly U.S. military strike against a suspected Tren de Aragua drug boat earlier this week. President Donald Trump said 11 people were killed in that strike in international waters. So it's okay. It's all right. They're in international waters. We can just blow them up. We can kill everybody. Secretary of State Marco Rubio described the lethal strike as taking place in the southern Caribbean, someplace, in an otherwise undisclosed location. This should be like a Truspiracies episode. Against a drug vessel which had departed from Venezuela, of course. escalation against Latin American cartels in February. State Department designated Tren de Aragua, which originated in Venezuela, as a foreign terrorist organization and specially designated global terrorists, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, they sure showed those narco terrorists, didn't they? Let's show it again. That'll be, if I show it multiple times, it will be a real deterrent to the drug smugglers, and we're saving lives. Get it, Don. My boat! I'm sorry. I can't help it. It just seems funny to me. No! My boat! You hear the guy on the taken into custody. He's like, don't blow up my boat. I was going to take my kids for a cruise on Saturday. Oh, really? Like, really? Really? That, really? That's something about it just seems off. That shows them they're not going to mess with the Donald now. Did you really need to bring all your battle cruisers and your super cruisers and your submarines and your F-35s to do that? What the hell is going on? Like, seriously, what is going on? Okay. And then Israel, I guess they took a stab at the Hamas leaders who were in Qatar. And so they carried out an airstrike on a residential compound in Doha, and Hamas has said it killed 5 of its members, but failed to assassinate its negotiating team that was meeting to discuss the latest U.S. proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza. So they're there to talk about a ceasefire, and they target them? An Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he ordered a surgical precision strike on Hamas in response to the group's October 7th attack and a shooting in Jerusalem that killed 6 yesterday. Qatar's Prime Minister says his country reserves the right to respond to Israel's blatant attack because it is being interpreted, of course, as a violation of Qatar's sovereignty as a nation state, adding that the U.S. warned them of it 10 minutes after it had started. By the way, you're going to be attacked. I know! U.S. President Donald Trump said he was informed of the attack by the U.S. military, and he immediately directed U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to inform the Qataris, but it was too late. On the ground, a UK teacher who works in Doha says that the blast brought back a sense of panic. Yeah, no kidding. While another person there informed media today that her mind went straight back to Iran's strike in the city in June. So this is, I guess, the second time in 3 months that Qatar has found itself at the receiving end of incoming missiles. The other time was Iran's attack back in June at the U.S. air base at Al Udeid, just outside Doha. Man, they're getting it from all sides, aren't they? And Qatar is really a mediator between Israel and Hamas, and now it's not clear how the strike will impact ceasefire negotiations. So, it's bad news for those Israeli hostages. And their lives if any of them are even alive anymore at this point, are probably even in more danger. And it's also, I think, probably bad news for the people in Gaza whose lives there continue in a state of agony, really. Like I said, don't like any of it. Don't like any of it. So just say no. That would be a good start. Oh my, what a crazy night. You're not racist enough, Rick. I'm not watching you anymore. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up. I don't know. I hope you found some value in tonight's broadcast. Didn't really unfold the way that I expected it to, but as Walter Cronkite used to say, and I've said it here many times, that's not news, but that too is reality. See everybody back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. On the flip side.
Didn't pick this fight, but here it came. Now our own are playing a traitor's game. They sell us out for a tax cut deal. Shake his hand while they rob and steal. They call us blind, they call us weak, but they're the ones on their knees to the thief. Wave our flag while they burn it down, marching to the sound of a tyrant's crown. They ain't patriots, they're bought and sold. Trade our land for American gold. Singing his tune, dancing his way, but they'll cry for Canada when it's too late. Yeah. Trump traitors, selling us out, burning our home for a tax break now. They stand with the wolves, spit on the brave, but they'll beg for Canada when it's in its grave. They talk real tough, but they bow real low, licking his boots while they put on a show. They chant his name, raise their fists up high, while the real ones fight to keep us alive. They don't fight fair, they twist the truth, say they're the future, but they kill the roots. They laugh now, but watch them run when the north wind howls and justice comes. Traitors, selling us out, burning our home for a tax break now. They stand with the wolves, spit on the brave, but they'll beg for Canada when it's in its grave. One day soon, the tide will turn, and traitors pay when the fires burn. No statues raised, no banners flown, just names in dust where the traitors roam. Selling us out, burning our home for a tax break now. They stand with the wolves, spit on the brave, but they'll beg for Canada when it's in its grave. Trump traitors, Trump traitors, Trump traitors, Trump traitors, Trump traitors. Shame.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.